St. Joseph, Lover of Poverty, taken from the book Terror of Demons, Reclaiming Traditional Catholic Masculinity by Kennedy Hall. If you're a Catholic man, run, don't walk to buy one of these. Excellent book. St. Joseph, Lover of Poverty. To be an upright Catholic man in today's modernity is an exercise in being countercultural and waging an unremitting counter-revolution, striving to restore God's right order at every level of society. We must reject the trappings of the world in order to live a virtuous life. To love poverty does not only entail financial austerity, it is possible to be financially poor but have no concept of poverty, and conversely, it is possible to be wealthy and to understand the meaning of poverty. Poverty itself has no intrinsic goodness, and in many cases is a burden. However, the practice of poverty is a practice in virtue. The benefit of practicing poverty is found in self-denial and cultivation of the cardinal virtues. Great fortitude and temperance is required to adopt poverty in one's life. Furthermore, prudence is required to discern between necessary and unnecessary things, and almsgiving enables one to live a life of greater justice. St. Joseph demonstrated his love for poverty in the Gospels. However, I would argue that his greatest acceptance of poverty is largely missed. To be sure, Joseph embraced an austere life as a craftsman and humble father. The birth of Christ in a cave, the flight to Egypt, his laborious occupation, all demonstrate his detachment from worldly goods. However, his chastity, in my opinion, is the greatest demonstration he shows us of true poverty. Poverty does not only mean eschewing material things, but it is ultimately about sacrifice. We embrace poverty when we willingly deny ourselves the greatest pleasures and comforts. Sacrifice is supposed to hurt, and it is ordained toward a greater good. Joseph embraced the call to holy purity in his unique marriage to the Blessed Mother. In doing so, he demonstrated a great sacrifice and love of poverty. He loved the Mother of God more than any of us can ever understand, yet he guarded her virginity and kept her inviolate. The children at Fatima described the Virgin Mary as the most beautiful woman imaginable. Some theologians and artists depict Joseph as an older man in an attempt to make his chastity seem more feasible. But there is a great reason to believe that he was a young, strong, virile man, which in fact makes his chastity that much more heroic. St. Francis de Sales, Cornelius Lapide, Francisco Soares, and St. Alphonsus Liguori all teach that St. Joseph was sanctified and regenerated in his mother's womb prior to his birth. He had perfect control of his passions and temperaments, thus was able to admire the beauty of Mary, yet still practice perfect continence. None of us have been sanctified in our mother's wombs like St. Joseph, but we have been baptized. Through our baptism, we are regenerated and given the graces necessary to live a life of virtue and perfection. St. Joseph cooperated with the graces bestowed on him by God, and his love of poverty forged a character more ironclad than any man on earth. The daily renunciation of earthly pleasures was a norm for St. Joseph. He entered into a special marriage with Mary, already having cultivated his chastity through a supernatural love of poverty. Our culture desires that men be effeminate, soft, inconstant, pleasure-seeking, and useless. In order to obtain a level of virtue worthy of heaven, we must learn to love poverty. By giving away our resources to others, we will build a greater trust in God's providence. By rejecting common comforts, we will strengthen our resolve against the temptations of the flesh. Seek to love poverty like St. Joseph. Start by praying to him every day for his grace. Be heroic in your generosity and deny yourself daily. An excellent form of self-denial is fasting from entertainment and sports. Instead, one can spend more time as a father teaching and interacting with one's children, or in acts of service for one's wife that serve the family's greater good. Make the effort to fast from food and technology. Reject the constant consumption of more. These things may be difficult, but precisely because of what they will go a long way towards helping a man be less effeminate. Remember, the Holy Family celebrated the first Christmas in a cave. Therefore, let us also seek greater poverty in the very foundation of our life. St. Joseph, lover of poverty, pray for us. Catholic Northman, out.